My husband secretly texted a high school crush at 2 a.m., made coffee plans behind my back, and only canceled after I confronted him. Now I'm left questioning our marriage, trust, and how easily nostalgia almost tore us apart. I found the text while trying to find a photo he'd taken of our daughter's school project. I've been thinking about you a lot lately. Would love to catch up. Coffee sometime? Sent to Melissa at 2:47 a.m. last Tuesday. Her response came at 8:15 a.m. I'd love that. Let me know when you're free. His response, 8:43 a.m. How about Saturday? There's a coffee place near where you used to live. Remember Java Junction? Her, oh my god, yes. We spent so much time there senior year. 2 p.m. work? Him, perfect. Can't wait to see you. I stared at my husband's phone. At this conversation I wasn't supposed to see. At plans he'd made with a woman whose name had a yellow heart next to it. At the phrase "can't wait to see you" that he used to say to me before we got married and life got busy. Mark walked into the kitchen. Saw me holding his phone. His face changed. Did you find the photo? He asked. Too casual. Like he was trying to pretend this was normal. Who's Melissa? What? Melissa. With a yellow heart. Who you're meeting for coffee on Saturday. Mark's expression shifted. Not guilty. Defensive. Were you going through my phone? I was looking for Emma's project photo like you told me to. Found this instead. Who is she? She's just an old friend from high school. I ran into her profile on Facebook. We started chatting. It's not a big deal. You're meeting her for coffee at 2 a.m. You texted her saying you've been thinking about her a lot. That seems like a big deal to me. I couldn't sleep. I was scrolling through Facebook and saw her name. Brought back memories. I reached out. That's it. Memories of what? Mark hesitated. We were friends in high school. Close friends. Haven't talked in years. Just wanted to catch up. Close friends. That's all? Another hesitation. Longer this time. We dated briefly. Senior year. It was nothing serious. Nothing serious except you've been thinking about her a lot lately? Serious enough to text her at 2 a.m.? Serious enough to make plans without telling your wife? I was going to tell you. When? Before or after the coffee date? It's not a date. It's coffee. With an old friend. Why are you making this into something it's not? Because my husband is secretly planning to meet up with his ex-girlfriend and didn't think that was information I should have. She's not my ex-girlfriend. We went to homecoming together. That was 20 years ago. It's ancient history. I put his phone down. Tried to breathe through the panic rising in my chest. So you're still going? Yeah. I already made plans. It would be rude to cancel. It would be rude to your wife to go. Why? What's the problem? It's just coffee. I'm allowed to have friends. Friends you tell me about. Friends I know exist. Not secret friends you text in the middle of the night and make plans with behind my back. I wasn't doing it behind your back. I just didn't think it was a big deal. You're making this into something it's not. Then why the heart emoji next to her name? Mark grabbed his phone. Looked at the contact. I don't know. Facebook probably added that when I saved her number. I didn't put it there. You saved her number. So I could text her. Yes. That's how texting works. This conversation was going in circles. Mark defending himself. Me trying to explain why this felt wrong. Neither of us getting anywhere. I don't want you to go, I said finally. That's not fair. You can't tell me who I can and can't see. I'm not telling you. I'm asking you. As your wife. Please don't meet up with your high school girlfriend without me. She's not my girlfriend. And you're being controlling. I haven't seen this woman in 20 years. One coffee isn't going to destroy our marriage. It might if you keep dismissing my feelings about it. Mark sighed. Frustrated. Like I was being unreasonable. Like I was the problem. Fine. You can come if it'll make you feel better. But you're going to feel ridiculous when you realize this is completely innocent. I don't want to come. I want you to not go. Or at least postpone until we've talked about this more. Until I understand why this is suddenly so important to you. It's not important. It's just coffee. With someone I used to know. I don't understand why you're freaking out about this. Because you're acting like I don't have a right to be uncomfortable. Like my feelings don't matter. Like your need to see this woman is more important than my need to feel secure in our marriage. Your security shouldn't depend on me not having coffee with someone. That's codependent. That word. Codependent. Like my reaction to my husband secretly planning to meet his ex was a character flaw instead of a reasonable response. I'm not codependent. I'm your wife. And I'm telling you this makes me uncomfortable. If you go anyway, knowing how I feel, that tells me exactly where I stand. Where you stand? You're my wife of 12 years. Mother of my children. Love of my life. You stand exactly where you've always stood. One coffee with someone from my past doesn't change that. Then cancel it. If it's not important, if it doesn't matter, cancel it. I don't want to cancel it. I want to catch up with an old friend. Why is that so intimidating to you? I didn't have a good answer. Or I had too many answers and didn't know which one to say first. Because it felt intimidating. The secrecy. The late-night text. The yellow heart. The way he kept minimizing my concerns. All of it added up to something that felt wrong. Even if I couldn't articulate exactly why. Just don't go, I said again. Please. Mark grabbed his phone. Walked toward the door. I have to get to work. We'll talk about this later. He left. I stood in the kitchen trying to figure out what had just happened. Trying to understand how we'd gone from a normal morning to a fight about whether my husband should meet his ex-girlfriend for coffee. Let me back up. Let me tell you about Mark and me. We've been married 12 years. Together for 15. We met in our mid-20s. Got married after 3 years of dating. Had our first kid a year later. Second kid 3 years after that. We're solid. Or I thought we were. We don't fight much. Get along well. Co-parent effectively. Have making love regularly enough. Go on date nights when we can find a babysitter. We're not perfect, but we're good. Or we were good. Until Melissa appeared. Mark had never mentioned Melissa before. Not once in 15 years. I knew he'd had girlfriends in high school. He knew I had boyfriends. We talked about past relationships the way couples do early on. Surface level. Nothing deep. He'd never mentioned anyone named Melissa. Never talked about a meaningful high school relationship. Never brought up someone he'd been thinking about a lot lately. So where did this come from? Why now? Why, after 12 years of marriage and 2 kids and a whole life built together, was he suddenly reaching out to someone from 20 years ago? I tried to work. Couldn't focus. Kept thinking about the texts. About Saturday. About whether he'd actually go. I called my best friend Rachel. Told her everything. That's shady, she said immediately. Texting an ex at 2 a.m.? Making secret plans? Hell no. He says it's innocent. Just catching up. They all say that. Then 6 months later you find out they've been having an affair. Mark wouldn't do that. How do you know? Because I know him. We've been together 15 years. He's not that person. Every woman who's been cheated on thought their husband wasn't that person. Until he was. Rachel's words stuck with me. Because she was right. I did think Mark wasn't that person. But what if I was wrong? What if this was how it started? Innocent coffee. Old flames. Nostalgia. Then something more. That night, I brought it up again. Have you thought more about Saturday? I asked. Yeah. I'm still going. Even though I asked you not to? You asked. I considered it. I'm still going. It's just coffee. You need to trust me. I do trust you. I don't trust the situation. The situation is coffee. At a public coffee shop. In the middle of the afternoon. What do you think is going to happen? I don't know. That's the problem. I don't know why this is suddenly so important to you. I don't know why you're prioritizing seeing her over my feelings. I don't know what you're hoping to get from this. I'm hoping to catch up with someone I used to know. That's it. There's no hidden agenda. No secret plan. Just coffee and conversation. Then why not bring me? Or suggest the 4 of us go out? Her and her partner if she is one, you and me? Because it's weird to bring your spouse to catch up with an old friend. She doesn't know you. It would be awkward. More awkward than you going alone? Yes. Actually. It would be weird to show up with my wife like I need a chaperone. Like I can't be trusted to have coffee with someone. Maybe you can't be trusted if you're texting her at 2 a.m. and keeping it secret from me. Mark put down his phone. Looked at me directly. What do you want from me? Tell me what will make you comfortable and I'll do it. Cancel the coffee. Or postpone it. Or make it a group thing. Something that doesn't feel like a secret date with your ex. It's not a secret and it's not a date. How many times do I have to say that? Until it stops feeling like one. We went to bed angry. First time in months. Mark on his side. Me on mine. Neither of us willing to budge. The next morning, Mark tried again. What if I text you during the coffee? Check in. Show you it's just two people talking? That's not the point. Then what is the point? The point is you're choosing to do something that makes me uncomfortable. You're prioritizing catching up with someone from your past over my feelings in the present. That's the point. I'm not prioritizing her over you. I'm just refusing to let you control who I can see and when. I'm not trying to control you. I'm trying to tell you this feels wrong. And I'm telling you it's not wrong. It's just different. And you're uncomfortable with different. Maybe he was right. Maybe I was just uncomfortable with him having a life outside our marriage. With him having friends I didn't know. With him reconnecting with his past. Or maybe my instincts were right and something about this was off. Wednesday came. Then Thursday. The coffee date loomed. Mark didn't cancel. Didn't postpone. Didn't suggest alternatives. On Friday night, I tried one more time. Please don't go tomorrow. I'm going. Even knowing how much this is upsetting me? You're choosing to be upset. I'm not doing anything wrong. If you're upset, that's on you. That landed like a punch. The idea that my pain was my fault. That Mark meeting his ex wasn't the problem, my reaction to it was. That's not fair, I said. What's not fair is you trying to control me with your feelings. You're upset, so I have to cancel my plans? That's manipulation. It's not manipulation to ask your spouse to consider your feelings. It is when you're asking me to give up something harmless just to manage your insecurity. I'm not insecure. I'm your wife. Who you didn't tell you were texting another woman? Who found out by accident? Who you're now gaslighting by calling my completely normal reaction insecurity? I'm not gaslighting you. I'm trying to maintain healthy boundaries. I'm allowed to have friends. You're allowed to feel uncomfortable. But I'm not responsible for fixing your discomfort by giving up my autonomy. I stared at him. At this man I'd been married to for 12 years. Who suddenly sounded like he'd been reading relationship articles about boundaries and autonomy and was using them as weapons against me. When did you become this person? I asked. What person? Someone who cares more about being right than about their wife's feelings. I care about your feelings. But I also care about not being controlled. Those two things can coexist. Saturday morning came. Mark got ready for his coffee date. Showered. Put on nice jeans and the shirt I'd bought him for Christmas. Cologne. The works. You're dressing up, I observed. I'm dressing normal. This is how I always dress. You're wearing cologne. I wear cologne sometimes. Not for coffee with the guys. Because the guys don't care how I smell. I'm trying to make a good impression on someone I haven't seen in 20 years. That's normal. He left at 1:30. To get there early. To pick a good table maybe. To prepare for seeing Melissa. I sat home with the kids. Trying to act normal. Trying not to obsess over what was happening at Java Junction. At 2:15, my phone buzzed. Mark. At coffee. Just wanted to check in. Everything's fine. She looks exactly the same. We're just talking about high school. Love you. I didn't respond. Didn't know what to say. That text felt performative. Like he was proving I was wrong to worry. Like he was checking a box to make me feel better. At 3 o'clock, another text. Still here. Time got away from us. Lots to catch up on. Should be home by 4. At 4:30, another. Running a bit late. Lost track of time. Be home soon. At 5:15, he walked in. Smiling. Energized. Looking happier than I'd seen him in months. How was it? I asked. Voice flat. Good. Really good. We talked about everything. Her life. My life. Old friends. Old memories. It was nice. 3.5 hours for coffee. Time flew. We had a lot to catch up on. What did you talk about? Just stuff. High school. What we've been doing since. Her job. My job. Our families. Did you tell her about me? About the kids? Of course. I showed her pictures. Talked about you. She was happy for me. For us. What's she doing now? She's a graphic designer. Lives across town. Recently divorced. No kids. She seems good though. Happy. Recently divorced. That detail stuck. Recently divorced and meeting up with her high school boyfriend who's now married. Are you going to see her again? I asked. Mark hesitated. Maybe. We didn't make plans. But we exchanged numbers. Might grab coffee again sometime. So this isn't a one-time thing. I don't know. Maybe not. Why? Is that a problem? Yes. It's a problem. Why? We had a nice time catching up. What's wrong with doing it again? What's wrong is you spent 3.5 hours with another woman. You came home glowing. You're already talking about doing it again. And you don't see how that's a problem? No. I don't. I caught up with an old friend. That's it. You're reading into something that isn't there. But something was there. I could see it. The way he looked. The energy he had. The smile that hadn't faded since he walked in. He'd connected with Melissa. In a way he hadn't connected with me in years. And now I had to figure out what to do about it. The texts started the next day. I saw them because Mark left his phone on the counter while he showered. I told myself I wouldn't look. Told myself I'd respect his privacy. Told myself I was being paranoid. I looked anyway. Melissa, yesterday was so nice. I forgot how easy it is to talk to you. Mark, same. Felt like no time had passed at all. Melissa, we should do it again soon. Maybe lunch next time? Mark, definitely. I'll check my schedule and let you know. My stomach dropped. It was happening. Exactly what I'd feared. This wasn't one coffee to catch up. This was the beginning of something. When Mark got out of the shower, I confronted him. You're already planning to see her again? He didn't ask how I knew. Didn't get defensive about me looking at his phone. Just said, yeah. We talked about maybe grabbing lunch sometime. When were you going to tell me? When we actually made plans. Right now it's just talk. You told me it was a one-time thing. Catching up. Closure on the past. I never said one time. I said we were catching up. If we enjoy each other's company, why wouldn't we see each other again? Because you're married. Because she's your ex. Because this is how affairs start. This isn't an affair. We're friends. That's it. Friends who used to date. Who you think about a lot. Who you text constantly. Who make you smile in ways I haven't seen in years. Mark stopped. Looked at me. What's that supposed to mean? It means you came home from coffee with her happier than you've been in months. It means you're glowing. Energized. Connected. When's the last time you looked like that after spending time with me? That's not fair. You and I have a different relationship. We're married. We have kids. We have bills and responsibilities and real life. Of course it's different with someone I'm just catching up with. There's no pressure. No history. Just easy conversation. No history? You dated her. You clearly had feelings for her. And now you're rekindling something and acting like I'm crazy for being worried. I'm not rekindling anything. We're friends. That's it. Why can't you accept that? Because I don't believe you. I think there's more here. I think you're feeling something and either you don't realize it or you're lying to me about it. Mark grabbed his phone. Started typing something. I watched him send a message. Then he showed me the screen. To Melissa, hey, my wife's not comfortable with us hanging out. I think it's better if we don't make plans again. Was great catching up though. He hit send. Looked at me. There. Happy? I canceled future plans. Cut off the friendship before it even started. Because my wife can't handle me having coffee with someone from my past. I should have felt relieved. Vindicated. But I didn't. Because the message felt performative. Forced. Like he was doing it to shut me up, not because he agreed it was the right thing to do. You didn't have to do that, I said. Yes, I did. Because apparently I can't be trusted. Because my wife thinks I'm either cheating or about to cheat. Because one coffee with an old friend means I'm throwing away our marriage. That's not what I think. It's exactly what you think. Otherwise you wouldn't have asked me not to go. Wouldn't have been upset about the texts. Wouldn't have made me cut off contact with someone who did nothing wrong. She didn't do anything wrong. You did. You made plans behind my back. You texted her in the middle of the night. You prioritized seeing her over my feelings. And I just fixed it. I canceled. I cut her off. What more do you want? I want you to understand why this was wrong. Not just cave to make me stop talking about it. I don't think it was wrong. I think you overreacted. But I'm respecting your feelings anyway. Isn't that what you wanted? His phone buzzed. Melissa's response. Oh no. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to cause problems. Please tell your wife I understand. No hard feelings. Mark showed me the message. See? She gets it. She's not trying to break up my marriage. She was just happy to reconnect with an old friend. I looked at the messages. At the way they talked to each other. The ease. The familiarity. The connection. And I realized Mark was right about one thing. Melissa wasn't the problem. Mark was. Because even if Melissa disappeared completely, even if they never spoke again, Mark had shown me something I couldn't unsee. He'd shown me that he could connect with someone else in ways he hadn't connected with me in years. That he could get excited about someone else. That he could prioritize someone else's company over my comfort. And that wasn't about Melissa. That was about our marriage. We need to go to counseling, I said. What? Why? Because something's wrong. Maybe it's been wrong for a while, I didn't see it. But it's wrong now. Nothing's wrong. We had one fight. That happens in marriages. This isn't about one fight. It's about the fact that you were more excited to see her than you've been to see me in months. It's about the fact that you fought so hard to keep that connection instead of just respecting my feelings from the beginning. I respected your feelings. I canceled. After fighting about it for a week. After making me feel crazy for being uncomfortable. After doing it anyway despite my objections. Mark sat down. Rubbed his face. What do you want me to say? I want you to acknowledge that this isn't just about Melissa. It's about us. About the fact that we've drifted. About the fact that it took a woman from your past showing up to make me realize how disconnected we've become. We're not disconnected. We're married. We have kids. We're busy. That's normal. Busy isn't the same as disconnected. And we are disconnected. When's the last time we had a conversation that wasn't about the kids or bills or logistics? Mark thought about it. Couldn't answer. Exactly, I said. We've become roommates. Co-parents. People who live together but don't really know each other anymore. And Melissa reminded you what it feels like to actually connect with someone. That's what I'm scared of. You think I'm going to leave you for her. I think you're going to leave me for someone. Maybe not her. But someone who makes you feel the way she made you feel. Someone who reminds you that relationships don't have to be work and bills and exhaustion. I'm not leaving you. Then come to counseling with me. Let's figure out why we've drifted. Let's fix this before it becomes unfixable. Mark agreed to counseling. We started the following week. The therapist asked us to talk about what brought us in. I told her about Melissa. About the texts. About the fight. About feeling disconnected. Mark told her I was overreacting. That he'd had coffee with an old friend and I'd made it into a crisis. That he'd cancelled future plans to appease me but didn't think he'd done anything wrong. The therapist listened. Then asked Mark a question. If your wife had texted an ex-boyfriend at 2 a.m. and made plans to meet him without telling you, how would you feel? Mark hesitated. I don't know. I guess I'd be confused. Maybe a little uncomfortable. Would you want her to go? Longer hesitation. Probably not. So you understand your wife's discomfort? You'd feel the same way in her position. But I wouldn't make her cancel. I'd trust her. Would you? Or would you hope she'd consider your feelings and make a different choice? Mark didn't answer. The therapist turned to me. And you? What are you most afraid of? That he's going to realize he married the wrong person. That Melissa or someone like her is going to remind him what it feels like to be excited about someone. And he's going to leave. Has he given you any indication he wants to leave? No. But he hasn't given me any indication he wants to stay either. We just exist together. And I'm scared that's not enough. We worked with a therapist for months. Talked about connection. About priorities. About what we wanted our marriage to look like. Slowly, things improved. We started having date nights again. Real ones. Where we talked about things that mattered instead of just logistics. We had making love more. Not just maintenance making love. Actual connected, present making love. We laughed together. Remembered why we'd liked each other in the first place. But I never fully trusted him again. Not the way I had before. I'd check his phone sometimes. When he was in the shower or asleep. Looking for evidence of Melissa. Or someone else. I never found anything. Mark had cut her off like he'd promised. Never texted her again. Never mentioned her. But I couldn't shake the feeling that he thought about her. That he wondered what could have been. That some part of him regretted choosing me. One night, I asked him directly. Do you think about her? Who? Melissa. Mark sighed. Sometimes. Not in the way you're worried about. But yeah, sometimes I wonder how she's doing. What her life is like now. Do you regret cutting her off? A little. She was nice. It was nice to connect with someone from my past. I wish it hadn't become such a big thing. It became a big thing because you made it one. Because you prioritized seeing her over my feelings. I know. I get that now. I was being selfish. I liked how I felt when I was with her. Not in a romantic way. Just in a I'm not just a dad and a husband way. I was just Mark. Talking to someone who knew me before all the responsibility. You can be just Mark with me. Can I? You know me as husband Mark. Dad Mark. Provider Mark. You don't know carefree high school Mark. That version of me doesn't exist anymore except in memories. So you wanted to revisit that version? With her? Yeah. I guess so. And I didn't realize that was unfair to you until it was too late. We kept working on it. Kept going to therapy. Kept trying to rebuild what had cracked. 2 years after the Melissa incident, Mark's phone buzzed during dinner. He looked at it. His face changed. What is it? I asked. Melissa got engaged. One of our mutual friends posted about it. How do you feel about that? Fine. Happy for her. She deserves it. Do you wish it was you? No. I wish we'd handled things differently. But I don't wish I'd chosen her over you. I chose right. I just didn't appreciate what I chose for a while. And now? Now I appreciate it. I appreciate you. I appreciate us. And I'm sorry it took almost losing you to figure that out. I believed him. Mostly. There was still a small part of me that wondered. That checked his phone occasionally. That looked for signs he was drifting again. But relationships aren't perfect. Trust isn't absolute. You do the best you can with the information you have. And the information I had was that Mark had made a mistake. Had prioritized nostalgia over his marriage. Had upset me in the process. But he'd also worked to fix it. Had gone to therapy. Had reconnected with me. Had shown me, over time, that he chose us. That had to be enough. Because the alternative was spending the rest of my marriage waiting for the next Melissa. The next threat. The next reminder that Mark's attention could be pulled away. I couldn't live like that. So I chose to trust. Most days. My husband suddenly texted his high school crush and wanted to meet her, even though we were happily married. What started as a normal day turned into a crisis that almost ended our marriage. But it also turned into the wake-up call we needed. The reminder that marriages require attention. That connection doesn't happen automatically. That you have to choose each other every day, not just once at a wedding. We're better now. Not perfect. Still carrying the scars from that time. But better. And Mark never texted another ex again. Never made plans without telling me. Never prioritized someone else's company over my comfort. Because he learned. We both learned. That marriage is fragile. That trust is precious. That nostalgia is dangerous when you're not careful. And that sometimes, the threat to your marriage isn't the other person. It's the version of yourself you're trying to reclaim by reconnecting with your past. Mark wanted to be carefree high school Mark again. Just for a few hours. Just for one coffee. But that Mark doesn't exist anymore. Can't exist anymore. Because over 18 Mark has responsibilities. A wife. Kids. A life that requires him to be present instead of chasing who he used to be. He gets that now. I think. I hope. And if he doesn't, if another Melissa shows up someday, at least I'll know the signs. At least I'll know to trust my instincts instead of letting him convince me I'm overreacting. Because I wasn't overreacting. I was right. About all of it. And that matters more than anything else.